everyone, welcome to Love Your Body Podcast and Happy New Year. I'm so excited.
Let's go.
This is going to be amazing. I'm so pumped for 2024. We just have so many new things coming and some exciting things to announce. So I'm very excited for this, and I literally can't say excited enough because I really am. I feel so like just at ease. I feel good. I feel healthy, you know, and I feel like someone's listening to this like, I hope that you're listening and you did get to have a nice Christmas break, you know, that you did get to celebrate, have the holidays, that it was stress-free. But I don't know, a lot of people told me that they were just like not looking forward to the holidays this year. And it was just like kind of dragging. They just like needed that break. Like they were pushed to the edge.
I've had some of that a little bit myself too, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it happens for different people for different reasons.
No,
but definitely,
for sure.
I definitely feel that.
But see, the thing is that like, and we're going to talk all about this past year and everything like that on this episode because we're doing a solo episode today. But like, you know.
Hey, welcome to the Love Your Body Podcast. My name is Dani.
Yeah.
And today we have a guest for you.
What? Yeah, Logan is our guest.
What's up? What's up?
No, but it's just like, you know, I don't know. With all the health stuff that happened, you know, everything kind of just changed. Like as of right now.
You're talking about with you, right?
Yeah, because there's like so many things that I have to do, but I'm pretty much like, yeah, like I'll get to them.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we talked about that some. I think that was, we have some questions, which I guess I need to get that prepped for myself real quick. But
yeah,
we talked about that a lot. I mean, even without me having a mic, I like to throw it in there sometimes whenever you tell the story about how, like, obviously that sucks for a lot of reasons, you know, clearly.
Yeah. But
like I've mentioned to you before, just like it also kind of sucked watching you like do that to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also because it's like not really, you know, I mean, I guess we're getting into it right out of the gate, but it's not really like my place. I felt like I wanted to try to help, but I'm also like, I don't like, this also, that's also how you are to a large degree. Like you do push really, really hard. So I'm like, well, I mean, it's kind of like how she normally is, but like I feel like maybe it's too much, but a lot of people don't like to be told that. So I'm like, I'm going to let her do her thing.
Well, here's my thing. It's like, you know, for those that are listening, you know, we're referring back to like with the whole bodybuilding, in which I'm going to be talking about more in depth, especially the things that happened. And I mean, should I go ahead and announce?
Yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead.
So guys, after this episode, you're actually going to be able to go check out my new Patreon account.
Let's go.
I know.
If I had some
I'm
like
so
streamers or something.
Yes.
It's so weird that this it's like time machine. It's New Year's Eve right now.
I know. It's crazy.
More than likely if they're listening to this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and it's like, so, you know, it's a subscription based service. And so basically guys, like you're going to be getting a whole nother side of Danielle, right. You know, so you're going to be getting things that like, because I realized that there's so many things happening that I don't have enough time to get it all out to everyone. Like I just don't. I need another platform, and that's what this is going to be. So this is going to be another community, another added layer of support for non-clients, clients, followers, you know, whoever, your friend, your brother, your sister, your mother, whoever.
Your friend,
you know
your
what
brother,
I mean?
Your sister.
But seriously, like it's for anybody, literally, and it's going to be one of those things where, you know, it's a mix between, if you don't know what a Patreon account is, and Logan can explain more, but it's a mix between like Facebook and Twitter and podcasting and videos. And like, it's just everything in this platform.
Yeah. So like, think about it like it's just, you know, when you think about like a social media platform, what do you think that you can do? You can post things, you can post videos, you can post, like she said, Facebook, you can post, you know, on different platforms, you can post different things. But generally, you have a profile, you post things, you post videos, you post pictures, you post written posts, like whatever it is, you post things. You can message people, like all of those things are there on Patreon, and it's very much like if they went to follow you, you know, on Instagram. Yeah. Except for this was, like you said, a subscription-based model, and obviously there's a lot of, which we will get in depth on, but there's a lot of thought put into the fact that it's a subscription-based model.
Well, and here's the thing, guys. Like, I have a lot of like really funny shit to say, and like things that, like, seriously, like if you even knew in one day, like when Katie comes in, because Katie sees me 3 times a week, and if you watch the podcast, like, you know, a couple weeks ago, you saw her and her testimony and her story. But it's so funny because she'll walk in and I'll be like, girl, you have no idea what just happened. She's like, I was just here. Like, she'll be like, it was 24. What could have happened? Sometimes she goes back to back. So she'll be like, what could have happened in 12 hours? And I'm like, a whole bunch
Yeah.
of shit.
Yeah.
And then so it's like I can't even catch her up without me even being able to process and then being able,
Right.
like, so many things. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm just like, I would love an outlet to just be like a voice memo or whatever, but like y'all will never guess. Like, and it's just, again, to have that safe space, because for me, like, I provide a safe space for my clients. And if you're a client listening, you know, with our Strong Woman group on Instagram, if you're someone that's joining my Get Your Movement In Challenge, which also is dropping January 7th, you have till tomorrow to sign up and get signed up for that. But basically, like, for that, you also have an accountability group, and that's great because that is for them, though, right? Like,
Right.
I'm saying stuff that I have on there, you know, and letting them know about things that are occurring, but it's more about like hyping everyone up within that group and keeping them motivated and keeping them accountable. With this, it is also that, but on top of that, an insight into my everyday, and also an insight to, you know, my background and struggles of different parts of my story that, like, even some of my clients don't know, just because, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have enough
Yeah.
time
100%.
to get to it. And I've lived such a, I feel like, fulfilling and exciting and successful life that I know that individually there's so many parts of it that could help someone. So if you're somebody that wants to be a part of that and be a part of the community, and also maybe you can't, you know, afford training, or you are, you know, like Dani, I have to take care of my kids, I don't have enough time to, you know, do a challenge or whatever. Like, this is another avenue, guys. Like, I literally have so many avenues of where you could be a part of this mission, this brand, whether that's drinking Fight Energy, whether that is sharing a story and like being a part of a challenge, whether that's becoming a client, whether that's listening to the podcast for free, whether that's subscribing to the Patreon for $30 a month, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, like, there's so many avenues. And so I want you to have that to where it's never like, they're like, oh, she's just too expensive, I can't be a part of the mission.
Yeah. 100%.
No,
Yeah.
everyone can love their body
Right.
throughout.
There's
Like,
there's a spot for everybody somewhere. Yeah. 100%.
yeah.
100%.
And again, if you would do all the things, and some of my people do all the things, like, that's even better. Like, I love that, right? Because again, you're getting so much different knowledge and different facets. So I'm super pumped about it. So after this episode is done, if you've subscribed to the Patreon, you can literally go and listen to our, I'm going to call it like X-rated, or like, I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that. You gotta be careful
After
with that,
hours,
but-
yeah, this isn't like OnlyFans,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
and maybe
Just to be clear,
maybe an
let's just-
after
yeah.
hours or something. But
So we'll figure out some good. You know,
Yeah.
we will. But yeah, I think everything that you just said is spot on. And you know, for me, like, the reason why I suggest you know, I think that this is a natural progression.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And what you just said hit on there at the end, I think, is something for you to remember as well.
Well,
And also, I think that it's an important insight. You know, that I don't think you'll care that I share, but like, she's really wanting to make sure that this is worth it. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
that's how it should be. Like, she's aware of what she's asking of her audience, and so that's why we've taken the time to think about every single step of it. And that's how it should be. You shouldn't. It's not a situation where people go like, some people may do it like that. Like, it's just like, oh well, this is a way to. It's not about that. It's about the fact that you have so many different avenues
yeah.
that people can jump in that are free and that basically what I'm saying is you're providing value to other people constantly.
Always.
And the accountability groups is like, you 100% believe, and they're amazing, and they are.
Yeah.
But also, like, you're building communities for other people, and it's almost like
Yes.
you want to build a, you know, community that you can kind of be yourself with.
Yes.
And ultimately, the stuff that you're providing is value, and yeah, it's
Well, and here's the thing too, guys. Like, you know, with this podcast, like, we're sharing other people's stories, right? Obviously, you're hearing bits and pieces about mine and stuff like that, but like, it's about interviewing them. It's about so that they have a different, you know, lens, and I'm seeing things from a different view, or, you know, or learning from them, and letting them share their stuff. And it's felt, I've realized with all my health stuff that, like, in 2023, I just didn't feel like I had a safe space to go. And that made me really sad, because it was one of those things of, you know, from being told, like, you just different things, like, this is all about you, or, well, you talk about yourself a lot, or obviously it's a solo episode, so let me have it, okay? But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, we're gonna have amazing guests in 2024. Like, I can't wait, but, you know, stay tuned for that. And that's
coming out with some bangers right out of the gate, just so you know.
Yes, and that's another thing too with the Patreon. You're gonna get those mini episodes. So if you're someone that listens to this podcast, you're like, man, I wish she like put out another one, you know, because they're bi-weekly. In between those weeks, you're gonna have the mini episodes, so that'll be really cool too. And we're gonna get that on schedule and everything. So bear with us. But
Yeah, and like I was saying before, it's like, at the end of the day, listen, things cost money.
Yeah.
So like you're trying to put out as much as you can, and so
Right.
you're trying to find different avenues where you can provide more.
Yes.
Right, and that it just, everybody is aware of that, and it's so that's it. Like you're talking about, like, you have bi-weekly episodes, and if you're wanting more, it's like,
Yeah.
here's a way we're trying to give you more. Everywhere that you
yes.
can, you're trying to provide value.
Well, and here's my thing too is like I just truly want to continue to provide community, and that's why I do these challenges, right? Like I got a girl who's joined in Oregon, I think like California, Alabama, different states. Like you don't have to be here. You don't have to be in Tennessee to appreciate Dandy Fitness. Like you don't have to be, a certain age, a certain body, a certain whatever. Like everyone is welcome. I've had men do my challenges. Like that's fine as well. I would love to have men in the Patreon, and just because again, I want everyone to feel safe that they can share things, but like it to have different perspectives and I feel like so many times like Big Joe, like is somebody that's a good friend of mine. And for him, like, people would be like, well, how are they like friends? Like, you know what I mean? Like they have nothing in common, but like we have so much in common. So like, and like people would have no idea. Right. But like, again, he's X amount of age and like different life and whatever. But we are so on the mindset of just like go getter, underdog, like, you know what I mean? All these
100%.
things. So it's like, you just never know who you're going to be able to relate to or be able to lean on or who's going to be like, if you would have told me, like China, for example, was like going to become one of my best friends after like doing the Nashville Fit Show Forum and like doing the show and whatever, and that I'd go on a trip and like be with them, like, and and do all that, I would have been like, absolutely not. Yeah. Like, I mean, not to be mean, it was just like she lived in Indiana and like has a nose ring and like tattoos, firefighter. I mean, it was very quiet. Like again, I didn't know until she started supporting me through an Instagram group that we created for ourselves. And I was just like, damn, this girl's got my back.
Yep.
And that is what's going to create and now she's getting married and like, I'm going to go to her wedding. Like, No,
yeah, 100%. And I think too, the other thing that I should hit on from my perspective is what we were talking about before. Whenever I say that, there's a lot of thought put into it. That this is something that I'm excited for you personally to have all those things that you're talking about. And I think that it's going to be that. And you're building, again, it's yet another community that you're going to build, but it's also, again, going to be something that you can be like, we talked about that whenever you talked about it in the consult, thinking about it as like Danielle.
Yes.
Right. And like you referred to yourself earlier as that. And it's like, that's a great way to put it, is like this is going to be made to where like, look, if you want to follow Danity Fitness, there's a million places you can follow that. You know what I mean? But like,
but where do you
guys can't see it, but there's a spider coming from the ceiling right now.
No. Kill it.
What?
Kill it.
Anyways, never a dull moment.
It's never a dull moment because #nature.
Yeah, never a dull moment. But no, but I think that that's a really important point because I'm excited for you to have it too. But obviously we're talking to the audience right now about kind of some of the things that it's going to provide, and for one thing, you being a part of that community, whoever's listening to this, that is helping her create that space because she's in that way. But also, that's just a really important point that's a way to get like a more intimate look at who you are and the things that are going through your mind, and maybe some of the behind the scenes stuff and just all the different things, and even the extra segments. Like, these people know that it's an extra segment. We say, hey, look, when the episode's over, we're going to do an extra segment, which thank you for doing that, all of them. But the point is that we reset it. Like, there's different topics, there's different questions. It's totally different.
We already got the questions locked and loaded.
Right.
Like, there's so much.
When she says like the X-rated and the After Dark stuff, that's kind of what we're talking about. It's like, it's not. There's no filter. Maybe that's a better way to put it.
Like, again, there's really no filter on here, but it's one of those things where it's more like, because we usually have a guest, like I can't go in depth about it. Like, I don't want to take away from their story. Like, I can.
So much time, like you said.
Exactly. And again, even within a day, like I said, I will try to update everyone on everything going on and possibly on what you can sign up for and whatever. And it gets overwhelming. And I'm sure that some people are like, yeah, Danny, like, I don't even know like what part of what to do and whatever. So I want to streamline it for you, and I want it to be like where you have that spot where it's like you can directly ask me and say, hey, like Danny, like, and because again, I think that too, Instagram is tricky because I love it, but I also hate it. Right. And it's, I've been shadow banned, I've been edited, I've been filtered on there, like all these things, and I hate it. But it is a way that I've been able to connect with, I don't even know how many people, right?
Right.
And
like you can't live without it.
Right. And it's been beautiful, but it's been one of those things where I think that so many people are afraid of, like, because they don't know me, right? And they just know the persona of what they think. And so they're like, man, she seems really cool, she seems authentic, but we still don't know, like, can I say that to her? Or can I reach out to say that like shit's getting wild with her prep, or like, like what happened with the eye stuff? Like it's taken me being so vulnerable and so whatever for finally someone to be like, hey, I had a similar thing happen to my eye. Right? Or, hey, I was bedridden or whatever. Right. So it's one of those things where I'm like, it takes so much to get that out of people. And I hate that. Like I think people are so, they're fearful of judgment. They're fearful. They think that like, if you ask a question or whatever, that like, I'm going to go like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. There's so much to it that like, I just don't even have time to think about that. I just wish that people would just literally ask me the questions and like reach out to me. Because I'm never going to be like, ugh, like you're so far gone, I can't help you. Like never.
Well, the thing that phrase that I like to go to when it comes to that kind of thing, especially, well, that's a whole different conversation about people's inflated accounts. But anyways.
Yes. Or they think that I don't run my account.
Right.
That's another thing too.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, man, y'all got these dudes trying, and they think I run the account. So come on, guys. Like, I obviously run the account. Like, like. No,
100%. But the phrase that I use is that you like, there's, well, for one thing, this is not my phrase. This is an actual saying, but it goes, relatability brings success, and success kills relatability.
Yes.
So how I've said that in like an Instagram social media type of way is that eventually like you go from being a person to a profile.
Yeah.
So like right now you're kind of entering that territory where you're almost like people look at you almost more of a profile.
Right.
And they see like the business, and they see even, again, we are very authentic on here, and we're continuing to get so. And I think every episode is just cutting deeper and deeper, which in a good way, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm excited for the first couple ones in January in particular, because they're awesome.
Right.
But I could barely hear that. But my point being is that that's going to be a place where you can. Sorry, that threw me way off. What was that?
That's okay. I'm gonna need you to pause.
You're good.
Can we pause?
Yeah, I'm already mentally paused.
It's Can you go let somebody in?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not a suitor. It's the. Will you just tell him he needs to go around the back or whatever? The keys under the mat. Yeah, the keys under the mat. Yep. Mm-hmm. No, I'm so over that whole thing.
The cleaning, whatever they do?
Yeah. Well, because it's a whole thing. Okay. We came back from the party and there was a possum outside the fence.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and I don't do well with
Wild animals.
Nope. It's
Is that what he's trying to do right now? Is he trying to
no, it's just a routine thing. But
just random
anyway.
that is happening right now.
Anyway, okay, what's up?
I was talking about the profile and the person thing. That's what I was saying. My point being is that the success and the relatability, et cetera, all that stuff is that I think that right now, this is a great way to bridge that gap that some people think like that, that they don't have direct access to you, or that they don't, if they do view it in the ways that you're describing.
Right.
Because that's kind of the whole point is like, to send questions in and to interact, and that is kind of an inner circle to you. And the people that already know you, I think also, and then this is a compliment to you, I think they're not going to be like, oh, well, I already know her. I think they're like, oh, shit, more that I can get from Dani. That's awesome.
Yes. And that was the biggest thing is that like, even when I was like sitting on this couch and I was like going through my most mentally hard time, I wish that I could have just had that outlet to be able to do that. So that's what this is going to be about. So I'm very excited about that. Also, I do want to touch on the Get Your Movement In Challenge. So what people need to know about that is it's 10 push-ups a day for 10 weeks or 10 pull-ups if you're advanced. So this can be, if you're like, hey, Dani, I can't do a push-up. That's fine. They can be modified. They can be negative. They can be from a bench, like whatever you got to do. But it's, again, setting a goal. Okay, so it's 10 push-ups a day for 10 weeks. So staying consistent with movement each day. There's going to be one post a week that you're going to be required to do. That's just saying like, hey, I'm getting my movement in, feeling good, staying on track for the accountability purpose. Because all my challenges always have a mindset and a movement component. And then there's going to be like different prizes, right? So the first place winner is going to get $500.
Nice.
The second place winner is going to get I want to say it's a massage. It's a massage and from Squeeze, and then a Element 26 or whatever. They're like a what's it called? Like a accessory equipment brand, right? And so they're going to do a weight belt. So we have
Nice.
that, and then the third place winner is going to be a mini photo shoot with Amber, which will be
Nice.
super cool. Yeah, but
Those are all
also-
really good. Those are really good.
Yeah, and everyone that is going to get, so I have tons of sponsors, but everyone's going to get a bag, one of my goodie bags. So for those listening, I'll explain what's in the bag, but we have a shaker bottle, my new shaker bottle. We got fight packets for supplements. We have twisted dough. So they have this protein cookie dough. It's so good. So they have different flavors that'll be in
Hell
here
yeah.
as well. Also, bam. Get your movement in
journals.
journal. So it's a 10-week journal in here. So that way too, guys, like, you can keep track, but it says in there, like, did you get your protein, your water, some affirmations, like all the different components. So again, keeping with that mindset theme, active. So Get Curable is what they're called, but they have this active spray and it's super great. So for muscle recovery, it has
yeah.
CBD in it as well. And then they have a muscle cream as well. So the first 30 people, and I'm almost filled with that, but, the first 30 people are going to get all of the things listed from there. And then after that, everyone still will get like a journal, still get the water bottles. But yeah.
And that's just for entering, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's
so,
awesome.
And I have stickers, I have bands, all this stuff, whatever. But also, guys, like it's, again, you get so many, it's all listed on my website. And you can look it up and everything. I've been posting about it on Instagram as well. But the whole point of this is also you're going to get a community of people, like a smaller group as well, but through Instagram. So just imagine, let's say that you join the Patreon and you join the challenge, like right there, you're not only getting in terms of like a movement, coach, a trainer, and a person in your back pocket, but also a community full of people going through the same thing that you're going through.
Yeah.
Especially in the new year, you know? And I don't, again, with my challenges, like, and with everything that I do, I always give 150%. And that's the thing is, like, somebody just asked me, like, one of the questions she wanted me to answer on my solo podcast was like saying, how do you stay so consistent? Like, how do you like change the mindset, like to not get, burn out about things, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it's really freaking hard. But
Right.
things like this bring me back to life. Like I did a radio talk show the other day.
I saw that.
That
was
brought
really
me
cool.
back to life.
That was
Yeah.
really cool.
It was like the #1 gospel show
yeah.
in Tennessee. And the reason that I got that or like got asked to be on that was because of the suicide walk. Okay. So let me remind you guys, that was the weekend of the Music City FitCon. Okay. That was also the night before we went to go see Halloween in the park. So it was a community thing for my clients. So not only did I do a community event for my clients, okay, then the next day I spoke and did was a guest speaker on a panelist and did Move Fit, okay, the very next day, all day long, that was provided for my clients, other people, continuing education credits, all those things. Okay, then the next day woke up, set up again, and then did Move Fit for young adults and for other people that were there, for the suicide walk. There were hundreds of people there in the park in Centennial or whatever. And then connected on top of that with this MC and was like, hey, I would love to like partner with you at some point or whatever. So do you see that it's not just about like, oh, she went to that event. Like, y'all, like there's so many things. And like, again, that go back before this and whatever to even like plan these things out. And I don't think people realize that.
I mean, just the logistics of the amount of places that you go is kind of mind blowing to me. Like people act like you just walk up and set a booth up. It's like, no, you gotta.
And that expo, that was what, 9 months or like a year in the making, because I went to that before and had spoke, but you went to that, and I only spoke to a few people. It was just like a private room, and that was when I had my style and like all that was happening, whatever, but made the most of it, practiced my speaking. And I was like, next year it's going to be great and it's going to be paid again and it's going to be whatever. And they ended up sponsoring my gym. They're one of the sponsors. So, got my Stairmaster, got my bench, all the weights that my clients use. Like, so that was that. I had to make that deal and then wait till October to then go do that and like make the most of it and make connections there. And who knows what those connections will then, right? And that was super cool. And I had my girls show up to that, and that was awesome. And then the next day, we rolled up, did a suicide walk, everything like that. But I really didn't want to do that walk, right? It was emotional. That was literally this, like, loss, grief, dealing with all of that day. It was the day before I left for my vacation that I'd been waiting for like 7 years. There's so many reasons I could have bailed out. I didn't have to pay to be there because the girl that put it on like asked me to come. She asked me to be the first fitness to go there, right? Mm-hmm. And because I'd done it the year before when it was a much smaller event. And she was like, there's gonna be hundreds of people. We want you there. And I was like, Elizabeth, like, okay, this means a lot to me. I that is one of the charities I'm most passionate about, like nonprofits I'm most passionate about, with like suicide prevention, because of my own struggles and things, and people that I know that we've lost and everything. And so it's one of those things where if I would have just like, I mean, I cried that day, because I was so overwhelmed just about doing it. But like, again, being there, them seeing my energy, they were like, we want to have you on the show.
Yep.
And like,
and you had to fight through that to get.
Yeah. And then literally, when did they want me to have me on the show? The day after my Christmas party that I put on for my clients that nobody made me do. Okay. That I funded. Okay. And thankfully, Megan, who's my client, was so nice to like have us use her space or whatever. And, we worked that out. And it was a recording studio. Like her husband travels and tours with Gavin DeGraw. She was on The Voice. She's got pictures of her with Kelly Clarkson up there. Yeah. Like, cool as shit, right? Yeah. The most epic space. And I provide that and, like, food and everything for my clients. And again, if clients didn't show up, like, that's fine. But, like, everyone afterwards was like, man, like, I missed out. And this is something I want to point out, right? When I am telling you guys or I'm reaching out on social media about, like, wanting you to do these things, it is not, like, this like money grab thing, okay? I genuinely believe, like I'm training to fight right now. Like I genuinely believe in everything I do because I've done it. So like I've stayed consistent with my movement. So I know that consistency with movement's going to help you for a challenge, right? I know that having support and accountability groups is going to help you because that has helped me, right? Like me doing MoveFit, like I it's not to embarrass you to come dance or whatever. It's to have moments where you feel sexy and you feel empowered and strong. And every time after MoveFit, people are like, I feel like a whole new person. Like I feel like no worries. My stress, my anxiety's gone. Like I want you to experience these things. And so that is why I'm so passionate about like it again, like what I said with like the party even at its base level. People afterwards were like, man, I really wish I could have gone. That looked like so much fun. I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%.
And it's the same thing about like with loving your body that I keep harping on, where people like 7 years ago or 6 years ago or 3 years ago or 2 years ago were like, oh, like love your body, like, right. And making fun of me. And that's fine. You can do that all day long and whatever. And like, I don't care. But at the point of it, it's like that then when they start realizing like, Dani, they come back around, they're like, Dani, like, I'm going through some serious shit mentally.
Yep.
I have to start loving my body. Or Dani, like the doctor said, like, I'm not going to make it. You know what I mean? Because like I'm on this horrible, like, whatever health journey. Or they're like, my daughter now has an eating disorder because she doesn't love her body.
Yeah.
Like now they take it seriously. So I am more on the side of let's not wait to get to where you're me sitting on the couch in college, eating a calzone at 9:00 in the morning and you're hating yourself. And you're like, what am I doing with my life?
No, yeah, I get that 100%. I mean, it's like I can't remember this exact phrase, but it's something along the lines of like they make fun of you first, and then they wonder how you got there.
Yeah,
and it's 100%. Like, what do you mean? All the ways that you saw it the whole time. It's just you didn't take it seriously, and you didn't think that I was taking it seriously, but I was. Yes. And again, that's I think another, like I was saying earlier, whenever I was saying that you're taking the Patreon so seriously, like. It should be like this. Like the passion that you're showing, it should be that way. And people, unfortunately, whether it be something exactly like this or whether it be other things, like people who unfortunately are used to not, people are very like cynical about stuff. They're like, oh, this is just a this or this is just a that. But
but don't put me in a box.
Right, exactly. That's not, exactly. Don't let people give things a bad name so easily.
Well, and
you know what I mean?
Too,
like you're not that, and that's the opposite of how you're doing this, and that's why I wanted to point that out. Is to be like, listen, I want everyone. I don't take a percentage from that. Like I'm telling you just because it's the truth. She is very, very. I shouldn't have said worried necessarily. By worried, I mean again, she's very passionate about making sure that this provides as much value as possible, and all the things that you just said are basically you describing how you give yourself, and it's like, well, we're gonna give you even more. Okie dokie. So. That is that about that. So the Patreon will be launching tonight.
Yes, so excited.
Please go subscribe. Dani will, we'll have information out. By the time you're seeing this, there will be more information out, I'm sure, and all the links will be up and all that kind of stuff. So you guys go subscribe, and we're both really excited about this. I'm excited for her, and I'm excited to see where it goes. It's something that'll grow, and it's again like we started this whole thing out with. It is a whole new platform. Mm-hmm. It is just like. Anything else as far as there will be posts on there and there will be ways to make it better and this kind of thing. But we have a fantastic plan for it. Yep. She has a fantastic plan for it, I should say. And the offerings, that you have and similar. That is one thing, I guess, that we touched on beforehand that we didn't talk about last time. But the kind of the goodie bag situation that she described, with the challenge is kind of what will happen with the Patreon as well. You'll get that when you first sign up. And so if you want to touch on that, you can.
Yeah, and just like locked in prices that no one else is going to get. So for those of you who drink fight, even just being subscribed to the Patreon, you're gonna want to do that. It's just gonna be like, and they know who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
But and just even with like discounts for training and like things that I'm gonna have, and y'all will be the first to hear a lot of things. So whether that's like shirts that'll be launched or whatever, like it's gonna be very like. What's the word? Not communicative, but it's gonna be. I mean,
Intimate.
yeah, like
Intimate.
very
It's like a very
intimate. Of
intimate,
like of how I would ask like some of my close like ambassadors or whatever, but also just like having your input and having like all of that. So I think it's gonna be really cool.
Could and like you did with this, it's like you can ask them of questions that you want for the guests that are come on the regular show and things
also
like that.
too, guys, like I said, I'm moving a million miles a minute, right? So sometimes I forget like who doesn't know what. Like sometimes people, I'll make reference and someone's like, "Wait, like you pulled a truck?"
Yeah,
and I'll be like, "Oh, all right, let's go back." Okay, so basically what happened was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if you want to hear these stories, so you're like, hey, can you touch on this? It's not gonna hurt my feelings. It's a very open platform. Like, and I want it to be that. And I want people who feel like this is one of those things where you can share your journey as well, without judgment. It is a safe space. And every kind of thing that I create like this, whether it's my community through clients, whether it's my accountability groups, whether it's my challenges, they're all uniquely supportive and they're all different. There's always an element of why they're different and how I structure them. So this is just something just like that.
Yep.
So
Bunch of tangible benefits.
Yep.
And then obviously the community is a huge aspect of it. The access to Dani is a huge aspect of it. And again, it'll evolve and just it'll only get better. And so I'm really excited. I think you have a fantastic offering. And so if you're listening to this, go check it out.
Yeah.
Go tell a friend as well. I was gonna off camera. One good idea is to give referral like things to people. So like if they refer somebody to the Patreon, then they get something.
Yeah.
So that's just something I just want to make sure I said before. But yeah, so that is the Patreon and that is the challenge. And now we're going to do a little bit of just kind of regular type content, I suppose you would say.
Yeah.
Where we got some questions again, already pulling from that community as it is being built. So there you go. So obviously whenever people are listening to this right now, it is December 31st or after.
Yep.
But the end of the year.
2024.
The end of the year, the beginning of the year, those kind of things. And so we're going to kind of pull from the natural topic of the day.
Okay.
And we're going to ask you, Dani, some questions about your year and about the upcoming year. So I have a handful here. I think that this one is probably the biggest one that you'll want to touch on, and I think that people can pull a lot out of, and then we have some other ones as well. But the question is, what are 2 significant lessons or insights you gained over the past year?
Okay. So 2, you said.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot. But I would say that I gained over the past year was that it is okay to I would say that it's okay to not I don't even know how to explain it. Like it is okay to just be. You know what I mean? Like I continually, since I started my business, and it was because of fear. It stemmed from fear of losing clients. It stemmed from fear of people. You just always kind of like harping on the business and things like that, and like always having to push forward, right? That it was one of those things where like it's okay to just let things settle and not, I guess, micromanage. Okay, I guess like it's okay to not micromanage and to let someone else do something for you or let someone else. So I actually learned a lot this past year about how to, delegate, right? Delegate where things needed to happen and let people who do those things best do those things best. Like, I can't tell you how much it kills me to make a freaking newsletter, okay? I've been looking for years to have someone affordably be able to make me newsletters, as many as I want, without charging me an arm and a leg per newsletter, okay? MailChimp, now we're on ActiveCampaign, and y'all laugh at me, but that shit kills me. I would rather go lift up as much weight as possible. I'd
Right.
rather go through a bodybuilding prep. I'd rather go train 700 people in a week than freaking make one newsletter.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And back in the day when I did it, they looked awful and whatever. And then, anyway, just it pisses me off. Or I would think that they're scheduled and they never went out. So here's the thing. I have an assistant now, and I pay for that assistant. And I have paid a lot of money for my software that I use for my clients, okay? I have spent the money to help alleviate my stress. So that was the biggest thing. So I guess, like, learning to delegate was a huge thing. And then also not letting, like, learning that the stress actually could affect my body like it did. Like, that's why my eyesight, why I lost,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why I have scarring now. And I have to wear these contacts and whatever. And it was because of stress. And that is really scary if you really break that down, you guys. Because no one thinks it's going to happen to them. You hear about these people running themselves in the ground, whatever. And literally, I ran myself into the ground. But it was not in it. And again, I'm still doing as much as I was then, but my approach around everything is different, okay? Because of the coach that I had, so many things got so skewed that, like, I couldn't even think clearly. So I started to revert back to how I used to be before I had gained all the strength and the confidence that I did, right? So it was like, so I literally went back to, like, this, like, fearful person and stressing out. And it's like, I have clients I've had for years. You know what I mean? Like, and not to say something couldn't happen, I couldn't lose them or whatever, you know, right, to other things in life and whatever. But it was just like, chill out. Like, you have the roof over your head. Like, you're not going to go hungry. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like,
yeah.
it was just, like, putting things in perspective. And that's what the biggest insights that I think I learned.
No, I love that. And I think that something that we talked about recently was about, like, systems, you know, and I think that you've developed a lot better systems where, like,
Yeah.
it's not that things aren't getting done, but the
Yeah.
way they're getting done, the system, the mechanism that they get done through is a lot, you know, it's better for your stress.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
and also, too, like, here's the thing. Like, if somebody, like, I have a structure and I have a plan, right? But again, it would, like, kill me. It's like I couldn't enjoy my life if all those things weren't completely done and then move to the next thing. You know what I mean? But that was because of fear of forgetting or fear of losing track or whatever. And I've gotten so good that, like, I can remember so many things, but I also make so many notes and I have a backup for a backup for a backup. But it's like, I can't let people's, what's the word? It's like people's lack of, efficiency, like, put stress on my life, right?
Can't control things you can't, like,
Correct.
It's out of your control. you know?
Exactly. I can just say, like, hey, here it is and whatever. And, like, and I'm not going to go, like, I'm not going to kill myself to change something. Like, if somebody now texts me at 11 o'clock at night needing something, I don't respond.
Right.
I laugh, but here's my approach. Instead of getting pissed off and, like, not being able to sleep, which is what would happen because I'm like, how disrespectful. I just laugh and roll over.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I hear you on that. That's
But again, it's defining clear boundaries, and I was not good at that before. It wasn't for fear of, like, what people thought about me. It was just more so because I was moving so fast, I didn't have time to do that. And I like, for example, something happened the other day, my assistant, she ended up, like, putting something in our strong woman group, right? She posted it at like 1:15 in the morning in the group. And again, I didn't specify, though, hey, our hours for the group is, like, because we have people in different time zones. So some people, like, you know what I mean? And I should have clarified and said, hey, when you do this and you put that in there to be motivating, just make sure it's between the hours of this and this. But for me, I'm moving so fast, I didn't have time to tell her that.
well, yeah, and there's some things, you know, you probably shouldn't.
But
have
again,
to-
that's when she works and that's when she thrives and that's when she's, like, you know, her most creative and whatever because she works weird hours and stuff. But you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, for sure.
communication and boundary setting, and that is another huge things I think I've done very well with this year.
Yeah.
And again, still learning and still finding those things out.
Yeah, boundaries are a difficult,
And they're hard.
They are, and one thing I just want to touch on that with boundaries is, like, boundaries are difficult to set, but then the second step to that is that, like, typically you don't just set a boundary and then it's never touched. Usually it's like you set a boundary and then, like, you're like, hey, listen, I don't accept texts after a certain time, and then they text you anyway, like, I know she said that, but
Yeah.
And then you don't respond. It's like, oh shit, okay, I guess I really can't do that.
Right. Yeah.
And so,
it takes two people. I mean, it takes both parties and stuff like that. And again, I get it because there's so many times where I want to message people because I'm like, I gotta say this right now or I'm gonna forget it. But and I have had to work on it, and I've had to work through the things and learn and whatever. And again, I put myself in people's shoes and get it to where like, yeah, when I was that age, like I didn't, I didn't think about those things yet, but they'll learn,
Right.
So again, it's having compassion, it's having all this, whatever. So there's so many different facets of things that are like going on a daily that it's like, if I can just be as clear and transparent as possible, then like that's only going to help us in the long run.
100%. I think you have shown tons of growth in those areas. So I would agree.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see which one we want to hit here. We got, I like this one. What accomplishments are you most proud of, both personally and professionally this year? So it's kind of, it kind of is in the same vein, I guess, because it's significant lessons that you learned is what you were just kind of going over. So that maybe a little bit of crossover here, but I just think that this is a good thing to point out where things went well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So some positives for sure. So for me, I accomplished every goal that I set, from whether it was the shows and completing those and being able to do them, to gaining new clients, to my online programming, to, just everything that I had set out, like I accomplished, which was great. But I will say that a huge one was a financial goal of mine. And because like after I bought the house, that was a lot and stuff like that. So for me, I continually was trying to be as aggressive as I could with like saving and things like that. Meanwhile, still trying to grow my brand, all these things to help alleviate stress. So that was great. So I feel very successful about that. And I would say another goal was, with the LYB. Right. That was another thing that I manifested. And if people were like, oh, what's the LYB? That's the gym that I train my in-person clients out of. And that was my shed in the back of my yard. And my mom and my dad and me, we gutted that out in a day, which was intense because there's some crazy stuff in there. And no one had cleaned it out since the 80s.
Oh my.
Yeah.
No way.
Yes.
That is nasty.
Yeah. I mean, and so we did that. And my dad had a big U-Haul truck here, whatever. So that was literally within a day. And then I went to this Christmas party or New Year's party that night. So it's literally we did that in the cold. And then because basically I wanted to have an easier prep so that I didn't have to drive to the gym to do stuff. So I could just do it here because I was so pissed off that either the Stairmaster was taken or there was equipment that I couldn't get to because I had only so much time to get movement in before I had to train my clients all day long. Right. So I was like, how can I get the most success out of this prep and everything like that? And being here at my house and everything. So with the gym, it was one of those things where we did that. And then I got a contractor. He came out, did an amazing job with everything and helping with the door and all that stuff, whatever. And then I started thinking, and I was literally in the kitchen and I was like, who could I reach out to about a Stairmaster? You know what I mean? Because people ain't just selling, they're expensive. I don't know if y'all understand, but Stairmasters go from for a really old one and bad, $4,000 to
bad one?
$15,000.
Oh my
okay, depending
Lord.
on what standard of Stairmaster you want. So I'm over here
crazy.
Okay, the best equipment, and then for those that are oh, you could just run outside. Actually, I can't with my back and my injury and stuff. So running's not really an option at this time, and what definitely wasn't then. So I was like, okay, I need a Stairmaster or whatever. So I partnered and collabed with Core and Health Fitness and got that deal with the speaking engagement, whatever, and then got the Stairmaster, and that was the first piece of equipment, and you got the neon sign in there, and made the special touches, and got the mural for my birthday, just really piecing it together, and Crane Fitness, they were able to I literally reached out to them. So here's another thing that I think people need to understand that manifestation is real. And positive thinking is real. So if you sit in your life and you think negatively all the time, or you look for the negative or you look for the bad, then that's what's going to happen to you and that's what you're attracting. When I manifested, I literally was like, man, I don't have the money to spend on a whole gym thing for, for my shed, for myself, right? Because I wasn't thinking about it for my clients yet. This is personally for me. And I don't spend a lot of money on personal stuff. So literally, I remember being okay, they've been liking all my stuff on Instagram. I know they're going to be at the expo. Let me just reach out to them. And I just asked the question. I was just hey, could we partner and collab. Like, I'm getting ready for a bodybuilding prep. To be completely transparent, like, I need this, and this, whatever. And they're like, yeah, just tell us what you need. I'm like, we'll make it happen.
Damn.
But I asked.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? I asked. I told them that, I'm gonna blow it up. I'm gonna like tag you. I'm gonna do whatever. Like, and I did. And I sent my clients that needed equipment to them, whatever. But like, that was such a beautiful moment. And that's a female-run business. Thankfully, I really am so appreciative for them and Katie Crane and Mark Crane and everybody for doing that. And then like their connection to the mirrors. Like, then they got me mirrors, and they're like, it was just beautiful. Okay, so I got to do that, and that helped me. And then when my health started declining, so my liver was in stress, my hormones were not, like, my sex hormones were not working, like all these things, like I hadn't had a cycle and going on a year and a half at that point, like mood was just awful. My energy level was so low that I had to pump so much caffeine in my body every day just to function. Okay. That when all that happened, I was like, there's no way I can keep driving to next level. There's no way I can. I was either going to have to lose my clients or like cut down significantly and still train over there. Or I was like, hey, would y'all be down to come here? And they didn't know that was the reason. But like, I basically was like, hey, it's a cool vibe. It's private, whatever. And that's what we do now. And I'm forever grateful for that. And they don't even I don't think they even realized that was why we did that,
Yeah.
But it wasn't me trying to be like, oh, I just like don't want to go to the gym.
Right.
Like, I just gotta come here. It's
Right.
like literally, I physically can like make it to do my workout in there, and then I train them.
Yeah.
That's all I got in me.
Yeah.
So that was
Well,
like,
I mean, and that I think is something to remember whenever you think about your people.
well, and that was like what
that's
I wanted
awesome.
to say when I did a toast at the Christmas party. Like, they all went around and talked about like things that they were like proud of. I asked them like what their biggest goal was that they accomplished, or physical, mental, whatever. And a lot of it was mental that they said that I helped them with, and that was really special. But I wanted to say to them, like, man, like, you guys have been with me throughout every body size, every venture, whether it was running half marathons or strongman training or bodybuilding or whatever. Like, if you look at a lot of trainers, they've probably looked the same for a long time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And they haven't tested the waters. They've stayed complacent, or they've just done, and whatever. Everyone lived their life, But no matter if I was 215 pounds or I was 150 pounds, these ladies, and even the men that I've trained as well, but like, have stuck with me and stayed with me. And that has been so cool, because I don't know if that would have happened for other people. You know what I mean? And it's just been really special that they've accepted me at every size and every health and every, whatever. And it's because I've accepted them as well.
Yep.
No,
I agree. And so you've seen the fruits of those relationships a lot this year. You've seen them be there supporting.
Because
you.
I was scared. I was
Yeah.
like, but I literally,
course.
I was like, I have no other choice. I had to pay
Right.
a huge amount to get out of that lease at Next Level too. So that was a hit. And then plus, with the things I wanted to add to the gym and whatever, it was just seriously like, I was like, even from like the AC unit and stuff, like, I mean, I literally was just like, I have to do this. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was like, and I might lose everyone.
Right. It was really like a total leap of faith, but also like
Yeah.
like almost like, I
And
hope this works.
every time it's been like that, every time it is always paid off.
Yep.
And that is to show you that if you live in fear and you let fear dictate your life, you will always live on this 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and like unhappy, and like you'll always stay complacent. And so, I feel like we've only grown. The business has only grown, the community's only grown like since I did that. It was the same thing when I had the leap of faith to go to Nashville and start training fully there and let Franklin go. And that alleviated a lot of stress and a lot of nonsense that I dealt with, in a safer environment for me. And like, and then it was better for my people. And then it gave me access to be up here,
I'm a huge believer in that. I'm a huge believer in that a lot of times too. Like you and Joe were talking about a situation that happened with you guys where you were offered something professionally that you could have taken and would have probably helped a lot in the short term, but you would have basically had to give up what you wanted.
Yeah.
And I had a situation like that as well too. And yeah, every time that like those situations come up and you choose to double down on yourself, it seems to work out in my experience. And so that's what we're gonna have happen here as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that and it's not just just for nothing that I'm saying that. I really mean that. I mean, I think that's those kind of things prove to you the kind of people that you have around you, and they prove that. And again, just that lesson overall in general is that this. That's why I said before we even started recording, I'm like, listen, I understand that this is a big deal for you, and I'm glad that it's a big deal for you. Yeah. But the fact that it is a big deal, I think it's going to pay off. I really do.
Yeah. For sure. And like I said, it's like
in all the ways that you want. Like it's going to build, it's going to be that community you want. It's going to be that space that you want. I'm not even talking about any of the other stuff. I'm just saying that like.
Well, and like I said, it's I've always been with this business. Like I do pour everything into it. And so for, I guess the other part of what I've learned in 2023 was like, again, everyone's like, oh, find balance, find balance, find balance. It's like, it really wasn't even about finding balance. It was just literally putting myself first in like mental health and physical health. And like for me, it was like, okay, well, you're not missing a workout to physical health, but that also helps with your mental. Okay. But also you have to take a moment to be like on, and maybe take a Saturday off, and I did, a couple times, and like, that was nice, and like, I never would have allowed myself to do that before.
Right.
I never would have. And there's a lot of things, like even like going on that like little mini little vacation and whatever. Like it took me 7 years to do that. And that's, I don't want people to do that, but again, you have to find that balance that makes sense for you. And yes, I could have taken a vacation early on, but it wouldn't have been as epic as it was now, because I truly appreciate it for a lot of things. One, because of my sight, and everything, and my health. But then also I had the right people to go with me. I had like the friends, like I had, I didn't feel alone. I felt like successful. I felt excited, and that was huge too.
I think that's a lot of you, like that's a lot of grace that you're learning to show yourself as well too. I think, I mean, balance is a word, but for that, but I think that grace, like you said, if you do miss a Saturday, or if you do want to take a vacation, and in your head you're thinking, no, I just really need a vacation. Yeah. Okay, good. Don't beat yourself up. Just have some grace. Like, listen, you work really freaking hard. If you want to go take a couple days, take a couple days.
Yes.
Now, don't obviously whatever, but that's where the balance comes in of like, it's not like that. It's like, go do that and we'll see you in 6 months, obviously. But like when you're feeling that way, just let yourself feel that way.
Well, I just have very lavish goals and very lavish dreams. And so for me, it's not about if they're going to happen, it's when they're going to happen. So it's like, I always want to be prepared. So then I'm like, okay, well, there's more people I can reach out to. There's more people that I could like say hi to. Like I literally, the other day I was like, man, I have this huge following on TikTok and I haven't reached out to any of these people to say like, what's good, And it was just because I was like, I don't know, I just don't have the time or whatever, right? So I just started like messaging people on there, and then literally connected with this girl who now is going to join the Get Your Movement In Challenge. And like, I really think she's great. I think she'd be great for the community. And like, it's really going to help her love herself more. And I'm excited to see her in there. But again, it took me like having to think and say, okay, now we're doing this, and now we're doing that. But like, so I have so many different avenues, so many things to accomplish that sometimes it's just like, I don't know how to stop.
Yeah. And it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I think that like that girl that you're talking about is like perfect example. That happened in very natural timing. You're like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to send this out. And then boom.
It's because I had the time, to do that, when before I would have never had the time to even.
Yeah, that's true too.
Look at those things.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So you got a couple more minutes here, but that's 2023, baby. That's
I mean, accomplished 2 bodybuilding shows, went on my vacation, moved everybody over here to the LYB in West Nashville.
The
house is then continuing, and
had to do like did a lot of stuff in here as well.
Yes, yep, and spent more time with my family. I'm trying to think, what
turned
else?
30 this year.
Turned 30, yes. Was more vulnerable with people, more open. Went on different experiences.
Started a new podcast.
So started a new podcast. Yeah, that was this year too.
She's like,
I'm literally trying to think like,
that was only 4 months ago. Wow.
It's just crazy. I did my speaking engagements.
Yeah.
Besides that, did Move Fit, did my challenges that I had, which were great. Spoke at bodybuilding shows, wet workshops, was sponsored a lot of things, made a lot of new partners with stuff. Did the expo, did Move Fit there, met Jay Cutler, went and saw Olympians, had some amazing guests on here. Like, it's just been really cool. And my goals for 2024, I'll say, I want to, we're launching the Patreon. We're getting the Get Your Movement In Challenge. I will be doing Move Fit as well, again, at the Expo, Music Fit Expo, June 8th. I'm going to travel more. I have some things coming up in a different avenue, so I'll be announcing those on the Patreon, so I'm excited about that. And I don't know if I'm going to be competing again. We're going to see how my health is and putting that as the priority, now that I have a proper coach and now that I have the right mindset with that as well. And yeah, I'm trying to think of, I'm trying to think of what else there'll be, but I'm sure there's so many more things to come. Oh, yeah. And then there's something else that I will, y'all won't have heard about it yet, but that I'm working on too. So like, there's things from whether it's speaking, whether it's writing, whether it's video, like there's so many different things. So I'm just like so pumped and excited. So thank you all for subscribing, for listening, for sharing, my story, our guest stories. If you've ever shared one of my videos, like I appreciate that, getting the word out, wearing a Love Your Body shirt, wearing a band, all the things, it all makes a difference. And that was another thing I will touch on that my client said at the Christmas party, that their husbands were talking and during the toast and said, you don't realize the impact that you're making, and like that this is a ripple effect. And that's why I try to tell my people that when they share what they do, even though it's very vulnerable, it helps their families. And then their families, it reaches out to the other people and their coworkers. And then so again, guys, like I know it's vulnerable. I know it's hard, but share what you're going through mentally, physically, whatever it is. And if you feel like you need support, then reach out to me. Come on to the Patreon, have that accountability group, have that support, become a client, but join a challenge. Like, again, there's so many avenues where this brand can help you, and it saved my life and it's helped me and it's given me purpose. And, and it's been a dream to be able to grow this and watch what it's turned into. So I can't wait to see just how far we go.
Well, we and the audience they're not here right now, so it's going to look a little awkward. We're just going to give our hands up to Dani. She had a fantastic year. Yep. Obviously we were there for it the whole way for the most part. And,
yeah.
It's never a dull moment, much less a dull year whenever it comes to you and what you got going on. So the things that you have coming up, I don't even know. I swear to God, I don't even know about most of them. So like, I'm
get ready.
I'm on the ride with you guys, but
subscribe to the Patreon and then hear about it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, as we cut this off, we will be doing the first little Patreon episode with Dani, where we're gonna get into some questions.
Yeah.
And so definitely hop over to that. But I also want to say real quick before. Well, we have a couple more seconds. Shout out to you guys because we are in the top 10%. I don't know if we ever said that on the show, but that's probably a good thing to end this one on. We are in the top 10%, and it only accounted for 9 episodes. Within 9 episodes, we got to the top 10% on Spotify with this podcast, and I got receipts on that one if you don't believe me. So, thank you guys very much, and we will see you next year. Yeah, we'll see you.
Bye, guys.